Authorities in California today report Williams took his own life. According to his publicist, he'd been battling severe depression and he'd spent time in rehab over the last month.
Williams was open about his demons, but many people are not. Sue Mckenzie from Rogers Memorial Hospital joining us live this afternoon to talk more about depression and suicide prevention. Thanks for being here. And you look at someone like Robin Williams who has it all and you think, depression, and how could he be? What are some of the signs that someone is going through this?
Well, there's so many different signs for depression. They look different in different individuals, but we typically think of isolation, of shutting down, and yet for some people it can be just the opposite. It can be agitation and anger that's uncontrollable. And when we think about suicide in particular, we think about psychological pain. Sometimes it's related to mental illness, but we all know incidences of people who weren't struggling with mental illness but had some unexpected psychological pain that led them to a place of hopelessness. And so that's really where we tie depression and suicide together, is that place of hopelessness. And of course, we all want people to understand that there are options and there's hope. It's really hard to do if we're not all talking about it, right? If we wait till the pain is in a hopeless place.
You can't force someone who is in this situation to get help. So what can you do?
Well, like I said, we can talk about it differently. Just a quick example. I've run into people who've never had those suicidal feelings themselves, and I've heard them say, I can't ever imagine those kinds of thoughts. If they just switch that to, I wonder what it would be like to have those thoughts, they may get people willing to talk to them about experiences that they've had, and then they become a safe person to be able to talk to.
You have to normalize it so the other person can talk about it and not feel like it's something that's even pulling them down into the hole deeper.
You've got it. You've got it. And people who've struggled over time, like we understand that Robin Williams did, feel like they've exhausted their options. There's lots and lots and lots of options.
So let's talk about some of those options, the resources that are there for people.
So the typical kind of medical model options, obviously therapy and medication, and someone could have a medication that didn't work and there may be 10 other medications that could, but if they don't know that if one doesn't work, try another, and if they don't get support from family and friends to do that. And then I've interviewed probably 200 people just in our area talking about their experience of depression, and the things like how art has made such a difference to people, how music, how certain friends. There are lots and lots of options, and if we can keep that in front of people's minds while we're open to pain. We're not always real comfortable to hear about someone's darkness that they're experiencing. We can listen.
We can listen. Sue Mckenzie from Rogers Memorial Hospital, thanks for coming in this afternoon.
Yeah,
and we do want to mention, if you or anyone you know are considering suicide or you're feeling depressed, please call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. The number is 1-800-253-TALK. We also have that number online and the many more resources Sue mentioned for people going through troubled times at TMJ4.com.